Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
You thought this was a Halo game? No, you're wrong. This is Matinee Edition, motherfucker.
But the Halo hype is real, man.
87.
87?
87.
Shall we get straight into the game in a
We're
minute?
getting close, man. We're getting close.
We're getting close to 100.
100.
Hit it. We're going straight into it because the hype is too real. On Monday, November 15th, Microsoft celebrated 20 years of Xbox.
20 years.
Big milestone, man. Big milestone. Very celebratory video. They played back that video of The Rock unveiling the first Xbox. And then The Rock came out and did like another press thing with Xbox.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. Very fun stuff. Big surprise. They dropped Halo Infinite multiplayer 3 weeks early. Fuck
Really?
yes. And it was was presented by the developers of the at 343 up in Seattle. And it was all of them, and
Nice.
one of them, you could see one of them in the background pop champagne, and
That's funny.
and there was like a big round of applause. They were obviously very excited about it. And on a few episodes back, I talked about how good the beta was, and how there was like relatively minor changes that need to be made. Mm-hmm. But even then, like it shows how confident they were in the product that they were like, "Fuck it, we can put this out early. We're not crunching." You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you already have it nailed down for the most part, you might as well.
It still holds the beta title, but all of the progress carries over once the game is formally released.
Interesting. Okay,
So
cool.
it's really not a beta anymore.
Yeah.
They're just putting it out there to cover their ass in case anything goes ridiculously broken.
That's fair.
But it's a fucking blast.
Hell
and
yeah.
it was such a fun surprise that doesn't really happen often anymore.
So, okay, remind me like what is the so you have like a multiplayer throughout the campaign system?
No,
and stuff
so
like that,
the
or is it just
campaign drops on
it's just
December 8th.
multiplayer like
PvP.
arena battles. and stuff
Arena
like that.
battles, arena PvP.
And it's like
It's 4v4 or 8-on-8
okay.
with like capture the flag and like
And it's-
oddball.
Just like what so I mean I feel like Halo has been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
It's just like a new like there's just new
So
like new
I think
levels and
what's-
arenas and stuff like that.
yes, it's all the new arenas and it's running on the new the engine that Infinite's running on.
Okay.
It's completely remodeled. This is an important distinction to make. The multiplayer was due to release on the same day as the campaign, but the multiplayer is free to play.
Okay.
And they were going to do that. They were going to make it free to play with an optional paid battle pass. If you were to get the campaign, you would also get a battle pass for free. So it was one of those things of like, for cost of admission for playing the main campaign, you get something in multiplayer. But if you didn't want to play the campaign,
You just
which
hop
a
into
lot of those
multiplayer.
diehard PvP guys don't play campaigns.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
Look
they're
at
different
COD
kinds of
every
play,
year.
and so it's like
no one's playing Call of Duty for the story.
if you are, then you how it says you're a fucking loser.
But we
I'm
were
really invested here.
But like I'm gonna play the campaign, but it was still sick to see Halo drop like that early.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's been the staple fucking game,
Yeah.
For that platform.
Well, and there was a big thing of like I said at the last episode, Forza has been getting really good reviews.
Yeah.
But there was sort of like this like sadness in the Xbox community that like Forza would be the 20 years of Xbox game. And Halo had been delayed past it, sadly.
Yeah,
and it was
like the big hurrahs on
exactly.
Forza. Yeah.
Like, and everybody's enjoying Forza. Don't get me wrong. I'm still fucking playing it. It's still one of the best games I've played in a couple years.
I don't think about Forza intrinsically with Xbox.
Exactly. It was like Halo is the franchise.
Yeah.
And they're so close to releasing. It's like December 8th was going to be the day.
Oh, dude, so
It's so close to that 20th anniversary, but it's not there. So for them to drop that surprise, it was like the internet exploded.
yeah.
And
Understandably, man. I mean,
like with no heads up either.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there like props to Microsoft. There
wasn't
wasn't
like
a leak.
yeah.
There wasn't like a early script for this for the press conference. It was a genuine surprise.
That's cool, man. I mean, it's hard to pull off some like
Yeah.
genuine surprises like that these days.
No, that
So-
said, man, if I'm in the market to get a Series X because I have a Series S right now, which is sort of like it doesn't have a disc drive. It's the cheaper model. But then the Series X has all the teraflops, I believe they're called.
Teraflops.
Yeah, it's a stupid name. It's like computing power bullshit.
They're bringing back actual floppy disks.
Oh, dude, I hope so.
we have the technology to make them a terabyte.
You know. So, if I snag one of those, I'll be sending my Series S your way so we can play some Halo together.
I'll definitely pick that up off of you because if you've been listening long enough, then you've definitely heard me bitch and moan about the fact that like
PlayStation,
Halo is the thing that I miss about Xbox. Like
You know-
I would
Much to my chagrin, PlayStation has some incredible first-party games that I've never had the chance to play, like The Last of Us, like God of War, like Spider-Man. Those motherfuckers.
Spider-Man, man, that game was phenomenal.
I still, motherfucker, Disney, Microsoft had owned Insomniac.
Oh yeah.
And they let go of their exclusivity contract with them, and then they got
Fools.
bought out by Sony.
Sony just swooped it up.
I know. It's like fuck.
Oh,
So
man. That yeah.
but no, I'm so excited for the campaign to come out because I really enjoy Halo campaigns. It's like some of my earliest memories playing games were like playing the first Smash Bros on N64 at my neighbor's house and playing Halo 2's campaign
oh yeah.
in co-op.
Halo 2 was particular. Like Halo was awesome, but Halo 2 was fucking killer, dude.
The Master Chief Collection from a few years back where they completely revamped Halo 2 and like gave it full new graphics. It was a proper
yeah.
recreation of it with modern day hardware.
Oh, cool.
Fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like, there's Halo's one of those things like I really like the gameplay itself, but like it branches off into like a ton of different things. Like there's like, when the first one came out, like it immediately spawned like Halo lore. People were like writing books and like all coming up with like connections for like the things that happen.
It's that whole different plays into that same Star Wars angle. You're mixing sci-fi with some like high fantasy stuff and grounding it in science fiction.
Yeah.
And like I mean there's the whole thing with like the Forerunners in Halo and this whole gone civilization.
I mean it really does like they develop especially as the games kind of go on, they really flush out some interesting kind of things in the series. You know what I mean? Like I mean, just alone, even in the first like Halo, just thinking about like these giant.
Shall I give a
rings? These giant halos that like are just like out there with like these whole fucking
I think it's like
ecosystems
7 rings
and shit like that. Yeah, it's just nuts, man.
shall I give a quick rundown on the plot of Halo ahead of Infinite's
Drop it.
So the Halo rings, do you remember what they're for?
No.
They're a super weapon, and the Covenant was trying to launch the Halo rings because it would ascend them to the level of gods like Forerunners. What they were really meant to do is activate if the Flood took over the galaxy and kill everything.
Okay.
And on the rings, there are a bunch of other life forms that would be in stasis that are essentially being preserved to repopulate the galaxy and start over again.
That's fucking intense.
Yeah. So that's what the Covenant were trying to do
Yeah.
in Halo. They were trying to blow up the rings because they're a cult. And so then obviously they fail. And then you get into the Forerunner series, which is the newer games, 4, 5, and Infinite.
Okay.
And 4, this is really where I hopped on because I've gotten Xbox like right when 4 came out.
Okay.
And I hopped into 4, and the premise there is that Cortana is Chief is in stasis after the end of 3.
Okay.
You remember at the end of 3 with the fucking car chase?
Sort of.
And when you're with like the Arbiter and stuff.
Three was like I remember playing through it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one that stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Well,
Halo 1 and 2 were the ones that really stuck with me. But
so there's a giant space station that creates Halo rings, and you blow it up before they're able to essentially launch the rings.
how big's the fucking station?
I know. It's called the Ark. So it's like biblical stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So Chief gets on a ship. The front half of the ship goes through a wormhole to send it back to Earth, but it breaks off at the back, and Chief's stuck on the back, so he just gets put into stasis. Start 4, Cortana is going insane because she has been running for too long without a memory wipe and been thinking herself to death. So the roles sort of switch, where Chief is then the like logical, like reassuring voice, while Cortana's going insane.
Interesting.
And then end of that game, Cortana gets essentially absorbed into the Forerunner tech, which is the people that made the Halo rings. And there are a few Forerunners left that are trying to essentially destroy humanity.
Bastards.
5 comes around, and there are these weird giant Forerunner like artifacts popping up on a bunch of planets called Guardians. And they're wiping out, like they're essentially sending EMPs across these worlds, frying all their electronics and then causing earthquakes.
Shit.
And
destroying civilization.
Exactly. They came out of nowhere. Chief, meanwhile, is getting visions of Cortana. And then the dude who plays Luke Cage is in it as well. And you play as him for a bit. I know, it's very weird. He's like Sergeant Locke or something. He's hunting the Chief because the Chief went AWOL.
Huh.
I know. So you play mostly as him in 5.
Interesting.
With a few missions as Master Chief. So Chief gets there. He's essentially at this hub and finds out who's controlling the Guardians. Cortana has formed a physical body and is going insane. And her insanity still remains. And she's like, after the Forerunners died, they passed the mantle of responsibility to humans as like the next step in evolution of the galaxy. But then humans create AI, and AI is better.
Yeah.
So Cortana's essentially getting Halo 5 ends with all the AIs that humanity has created essentially being like, we go to you. Because Cortana figured out how to solve this thing called rampancy, which is the AIs going insane.
Okay.
And
so she's like the lord of the AI.
Exactly. And so it's artificial intelligence fighting back. It's like Terminator shit in Halo now. And then, so that's essentially where that ends. And Cortana essentially wins at the end of 5. Like the Guardians are everywhere.
AI takes over.
Yeah. The UNSC is on the run. And then 5 starts. And from what we've seen, like, Cortana actually won. The Covenant are like raiding worlds, or like this last group of the Covenant called the Banished. Humanity is adrift across the solar system. You find Chief at the beginning of the game floating in space after his ship was blown up. And there's like, and all that you get is there's a ring. And you're like, we can fix this all down there.
Yeah.
But we don't know what else there is. And it's like, what the fuck? Nobody really knows what the deal with Infinite is going to be.
That's fucking crazy, man.
I know.
What the hell?
So, you can tell I like the lore.
Well, like, yeah. I mean, they definitely like expand and expand and expand.
It got bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's really cool playing the Master Chief Collection where you can play through, like, you got Halo, Halo 2, 3 ODST, 4, 5, Reach, and it's like you can play through the whole thing and see how it grows. And it's awesome. Even with the games that were more critically panned, like 5, everyone didn't like 5. It's still fun. Like,
yeah, I mean that's and that's like a really good sign of a fucking gaming system or gaming game series. Is like, not only can you get like. Can you continue to bring like the people back for the storyline, but then on top of it, even if you kind of churn out like maybe like a bunk game a little bit, like it's not going to necessarily dissuade. It's still going to have its fun elements, and people
and
will keep
it is very cool that it's been 6 years since 5 came out.
Yeah, that's wild.
I know, it was 4 years between 4 and 5, and then like 6 years, and I'm pretty sure everyone after 5 was like, yeah, they should take a few years to get their shit together.
Make sure you do like the next one.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the weakest one so far in the series, make sure the next one's a real fucking banger. You know?
And like they did a little gameplay overview for Infinite for the campaign. It's like pseudo open world.
Okay.
Like very large levels with a distinctive endpoint, but with like little side things you can do. Not like really open world, but just a larger sandbox. And it looks very interesting.
Yeah,
It looks like they're expanding the Halo formula, which is what I'm excited for.
That's cool. And that's something I've always liked about like most of the Halo maps and stuff that you play.
Yeah.
Is that there's a lot of like little like nooks and crannies and things that you can explore.
There's a really cool attention to detail.
Oh, definitely.
I think that came from the good old Bungie days as well. It was sort of lost when 343 took over. A lot of people didn't like 4's multiplayer. Okay. Even though that's sort of what got me into multiplayer gaming, it wasn't really the glory days of Halo. And then 5, they sort of fell into those like really quick movement traversal things that were being popular in the mid-10s and like shooters.
Yeah.
And no one liked that.
Say that. Just, yeah.
And but now it seems like they've gone back to basics. And like I said, I've been playing multiplayer. It's a fucking blast.
Hell yeah, man.
Proper like Quake arena shooter feeling, Quake
Nice.
Halo.
Dude, that's fucking sick. I'm glad to see that like they're that series is thriving and not dying. You know what I mean?
And the hype is real.
Yo.
And speaking of Halo expanding beyond the formula, we're not gonna watch it, but they did put out a teaser for the Halo show.
Yeah, so I
It's
was
gonna be on Paramount Plus.
completely unaware that they were trying to develop this. I mean, I remember even back in the day, dude. Like people were making like YouTube shorts. Like short movies about like Halo characters.
Yep.
There's like one that's like I don't know if it was like YouTube video or it was like somebody like legit shot this like short film.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be like it was kind of like I don't know, kids being recruited to the program or whatever.
Yeah,
for,
the
like,
Spartan program.
Yeah, the Spartan program. And it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like there's
there was
a seriousness about it.
there have been a few like Halo short films or like miniseries. One of which is called Forward Unto Dawn, which is about the captain of the UNSC Infinity. Okay. He was a character introduced in 4. And they had a prequel about him, and like Master Chief is briefly in it. And it's like an Academy type thing, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Properly produced by Microsoft and like in our film studio. And then there was one with the Luke Cage guy about like the origin story of his character. That was like a 4-part series of them on it was like on a moon where they were stranded and they had to get off, and it was like a slowly turning planet. Wow. They had to get off before the sun hit it. Pretty sure it was called like Halo Nightfall or something like that.
That sounds kind of cool though.
Yeah, they had to get off of the planet before they burned alive because it was too close to the sun.
Fuck.
So it was freezing, and then they had to figure out how to get off before they all burned to death.
Shit, sounds kind of interesting.
Spoiler alert: he's in the game, so
Yeah. But so this like it's interesting that Paramount Plus is has the rights to it.
There was a Halo movie that was so far in production, but was canceled that they had to use the assets for something else. You know what movie that is?
What?
District 13.
Oh my fucking god!
That was going to be a Halo movie, and then they lost funding last minute. After I want to say there was a video game movie that flopped.
Huh.
And then they pulled funding and they asked them to reuse the assets for a different concept.
That's interesting. I remember hearing that like some of that movie was kind of reused from like something previous, but I never knew it was a Halo.
It was a Halo movie.
District 13 is a fucking intense movie.
It's a cool movie.
It's a really cool movie, and it's actually really like it gets you. It gets your emotions too. Like
asks some very interesting questions.
It does. I also, that the side note, that's one of those movies I've, every now and then you hear this rumor that there might be like a follow up to that. I feel like it's one of those properties it's best left alone at the moment, because it's like it's a really solid fucking story, and though you can build on that world, it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean exactly.
But like something like transitioning. Like a Halo story to like a TV series or something is really kind of an intriguing concept. Just because like
especially if it's well produced enough that they're really able. Like there's some of those like sci-fi shows or like fantasy shows that don't have the budget to really sell it.
Totally.
If they're investing money in making this look good, making it very presentable, I think it could be a fucking winner.
I agree, man. I agree. I'm intrigued to see it. I don't know if I'd go out of my way just to like get Paramount Plus just to watch it, but
You know what I'm gonna go
just save up all the Star Trek episodes that are about to come out because Star Trek Discovery is about to drop another season.
I haven't watched it.
Dude, Star Trek Discovery is fucking awesome. If you like Star Trek at all, then you'll like Star Trek Discovery.
I've never been a big Star Trek guy.
Oh, dude, I love the Trek. Love it. Even my dad, who is like, how do I say this? A very conservative guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that got me into Star Trek. Like,
Really?
We watched it when I was a kid, me and my brothers had this really like lame, as little kids, we had this lame like dance move thing that we would do to like the opening of The Next Generation. You'd fly around like the fucking spaceship in space with it. But even he, as conservative as he is, loves that fucking show. And that show really brings like kind of these like sort of progressive talking points to the Star Trek universe. And so it's like, that shows you how good this fucking show is because with all that, even my conservative father is like, I fucking love this show. Like, it's so good.
It's
so good.
I mean, it's not that I have anything against Star Trek. I just never had that vessel to get into it.
Oh, dude. And I think that's what's perfect about a series like that is that, Discovery having nailed a really solid note in terms of like current sort of shit that's happening, in entertainment and dialogue in general that's happening in the world. Like it really does a good job of giving people that introduction, like people that have gotten into Discovery now get into fucking Star Trek Voyager, which is fucking awesome. And then they get into Star Trek, Next Generation, which is beyond everything else. So yeah.
How's
cool.
Picard?
Picard's all right. I watched the first season of it and it's really fucking cool to see those characters again. Yeah. Anything Patrick Stewart does, Sir Patrick Stewart, anything he does, is always something I'm intrigued in because I love him as an actor and just as a human being. LeVar Burton isn't in the first season, but rumor has it he's going to be in the second one.
Yeah.
And but they bring back William Riker. They bring back oh my God,
LeVar Burton,
dude, nice. The visor, dude. They bring back some good characters. They even bring back the Star Trek Voyager character 7 of 9. Which was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very like it's one of those. It's a great example of like touching on a property and like touching on characters that have been long dormant.
Yeah.
But not overstaying your welcome on it.
That's what I heard. That's what I've heard about it. It's like very respectful and like
it's very respectful.
It's a dignified way of looking back at these characters.
Yeah.
Not really like trying akin to like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, sort of. Not really paying much respect to what was and just sort of trying to expand on it for the sake of expanding on it.
Yeah.
I was always told that Picard came off as like somebody actually had a good idea for a story to tell.
Well, and that was the beauty of it when it came out and like the they were talking about like, it being in the works and stuff like that. It was basically like especially Patrick Stewart and some of the previous Star Trek actors, they had all expressed that like they didn't have any interest in going back to these roles. You know what I mean? Not that they hated these roles or anything like that. They're like, literally like they're all like, we spent 9 years playing these characters.
Why would
we
we
don't
go back
have
now?
anything to revisit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so to have a proper story put in front of you to be like, this would be a good way to bring that back up. That's just a beautiful thing.
Oh, there was an actor.
So rare though.
There was an actor that said, I want, it's like Hugh Jackman or somebody from the X-Men series. Who was like, if Marvel comes to me with a good enough idea, I will reprise my role, but I'm yet to hear anything.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And it's like, will that happen? Probably not. It's probably best that they move on in the MCU. But
sorry, keep going.
No, it speaks to like the quality of like the pitch that Picard must have been. That it got these actors that were very much like unenthusiastic about going back to that property.
Yeah.
Because they spend so much time on it, rightfully so. I can totally understand being done with something.
Exactly. Once you give your character closure as an actor, it's kind of it's a pretty important thing for you as an actor, I think.
It's not like Luke Skywalker trying to kill Kylo Ren in a like it's like it like that the sequel trilogy, while I like elements of it, it felt like they were trying to make it because Disney got the license for Star Wars and they wanted to make something.
Well,
not
totally.
because there was a good pitch from somebody that was like, this is the direction to go.
There was I feel like there was a good pitch with that.
Yes.
When Force Awakens started floating around, the idea for the Force Awakens. But you're right. Like as soon as they tried to like even further expand on that,
Well, they didn't know what direction they were going.
Yeah, they kind of like they just blew it out of proportion. Like they just kind of like they overshot what they should have done. You know,
every movie in that trilogy feels like a separate pitch.
Totally.
When in reality, the reason the prequels mixed opinions at best. They're, in my opinion, not very good. But they had an endpoint that they knew they had to get to.
Totally.
Luke and Leia, as children. Darth Vader is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is looking over Luke. That's where they end.
Well, and not to cut the Star Wars thing, keep going. I got something to branch off of.
Yeah. Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the point that makes sense with ending.
Yeah.
But then if you're going to be going into like a whole new space, you have to know where you're ending up. I think that's sort of like the beauty of what Marvel's done, is that there always has at least appeared to be a plan. And while there might be room for iteration and room for fresh ideas, or maybe taking that in a slightly different direction, there was always an end game per se. And like,
well, to an extent though, Marvel's only kind of a good example of that because Marvel, they're not definitively trying to stop their stories.
Yes.
They're trying to continue the MCU further and further and further. And so these stories all have to intrinsically be tied with each other in some way. And so it's kind of,
but at least there are chapters, like there's a reason why they've organized everything into phase 1, phase 2,
that's the smart idea. Is like basically breaking it down like that, and those phases was like really what saved it, because
like
otherwise it would be kind of
like, I guarantee right now we're like halfway through phase 4 now. I guarantee when like phase 3 started, they were locking in a central aim for phase 4 and pitching phase 5.
Fair enough.
And that's probably the direction it was. Like, phase 3 is in production. We know where this is going to end. This is going to end with Avengers Endgame. Phase 4, sort of fresh start. These are the movies we want to be in it. This is what we're going to be doing. It's going to start producing in a few years.
Totally.
What's the direction we take it once whatever's the last movie in phase 4 happens? Like, based on what happened in that, what is going to happen next?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's probably what the writer's room is like in like the grand scheme of Marvel. It was like 2 steps ahead all the time.
Well, yeah, because I mean, particularly with characters that people get really invested in and that have to have longevity to them, you kind of have to do that. Like, you have to, start out with 2-3 phases, slap down on the table, and then start writing the next 3. While those are being produced. Definitely, because otherwise you would definitely run into a fucking wall eventually.
Well, yeah, and it's not even, you wouldn't even run to a wall. You'd start running over yourself. Yeah, like where you're not keeping up anymore.
Yeah, and then that's that. And again, Marvel's done a really smart job of it. That they've avoided redundancy. Yeah. Because of that, because of how they've been laying things out.
I mean, I think actually DC is a good example of starting to run over its own feet and backpedal and reset their universe early on. Look at what they're doing with the Flash. It's going to essentially be retconning out half the movies, and and it seems like it's because they were planning like 2 movies ahead, and then a film would come out that would contradict those.
Well, it was like, it wasn't even necessarily contradicting. It was that like a film would come out and it'd fucking flop, and they would then scramble to worry about like, okay, well, what sucked about that, and let's pull that out of what we're doing.
Then they'd overcorrect.
Yeah, and so it definitely like they definitely hope they haven't figured out their fucking system over there yet. Yeah. Hopefully that's that's kind of the thing I'm hoping about that Black Adam movie, is that like maybe they've been working on that long enough that that's giving them a way to like kind of provide like a fresh look at the DC universe, as well as obviously the Flash thing. The Flash thing is like, it's a boring fucking trope, honestly. Yeah. Like that the Flash is going to go back, he's going to save his mom's life, and it's going to be a fucking change to the whole universe, and like, and then
Batman's going to kill people.
Yeah, like, I mean, and honestly, like, hopefully we do see a bad Batman. Like, otherwise it'd be a really fucking
bad in quotes. Yeah. Thomas Wayne ain't evil, but he's more brutal.
No, Thomas Wayne is evil, man. Thomas Wayne gets fucking, in the comics, that character goes off the fucking rails. Like,
fair enough.
Like, not even just in that storyline. I mean, just like if you further that, like, he goes off the rails. But it's kind of, I don't know, doing the Flashpoint thing is like, it's really interesting, and it will be a good movie probably to watch. But
are we gonna see Martha Wayne Joker?
I fucking hope not. They don't even have a proper casting for that.
Martha.
But so kind of going back to Star Wars, I wanted to talk about, because we haven't talked about the Kenobi series enough.
Yeah.
They've recently, fairly recently, dropped like a series of
concept art.
Like concept art. Some of them featuring a scene of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader having a lightsaber battle in what appears to be a Mustafar-esque type setting. Which would be fucking epic. And like one of the beautiful things about that series, I think that's so interesting, is that Ewan McGregor, like he was quoted as saying, like, one of the best things about doing this series is that it brought him and Hayden Christensen back together.
Yeah.
And like, that was like,
which is pretty cool.
It is really cool. It's fucking heartwarming as shit, because you're like these two really fucking bonded over those first movies and the making of those, because they were in every single scene together. You know what I mean?
As panned as those movies are, like, we'd be lying to ourselves if no matter the quality of the film, people became friends.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like,
look at Green Lantern.
Like the what about Green Lantern?
Fucking Ryan Reynolds married his wife.
Oh,
like,
I was like, what?
Was it who's that? Who is she? Blake
Lively.
Blake Lively. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Blake Lively, queen of fucking Canada right now.
Yeah, well, they got married because they co-starred in that movie. That's how they met. It's like
I guess it's one way to keep that legacy alive.
Even if it's the shittiest of films, you know?
Yeah, and but like I think
you know who also worked on that movie, by the way?
Who?
Taika Waititi.
Oh, and I think a Skarsgård was in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, but not one of the good ones. Like
Skarsgård 20.
Not like it wasn't Bill. It wasn't
Bill Skarsgård of Eternals fame.
It was not Stellan. It was like Peter Skarsgård. Yeah, it was like yeah.
How many? Are there more Skarsgårds?
There's at least 4. Well, there's like Stellan Skarsgård. Yeah. There's like Peter Skarsgård. There's fucking Alexander Skarsgård or whatever his fucking name is. The dude from True Blood.
Quickly. Apparently the Dan Stevens wasn't Crow, and they got Bill Skarsgård in to dub his lines last minute because they wanted Dan Stevens for a different Marvel role.
Interesting.
So, Legion? Probably not.
But
I
just wanted to say, like, because we were talking about revisiting characters and stuff, and I think it's a really interesting move to pull together the cast that they've pulled together for the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, there's a female Skarsgård.
Because it's gonna be fucking like there's nobody. How do I say this? Nobody was expecting Hayden Christensen to make a comeback as Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, at all.
Who would have thought?
I mean? And honestly, the balls on that fucking guy for stepping back into that fucking role because of the heat that's going to be associated with it. At least with Ewan McGregor, everybody was like, his Obi-Wan was fucking awesome. So,
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, there's not much hate coming his way.
He's the one thing that everyone agrees is good about the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, because you had such like talent on that cast, but just such wasted fucking talent. Like,
okay, let's see. Okay, so we got Stellan Skarsgård, Alexander Skarsgård, Mai Skarsgård, who was their mom, who was also an actress.
Jesus.
Elja Skarsgård, who was a fashion designer. Jean Skarsgård. Gustav Skarsgård, who's from Vikings.
Need to stop fucking, man.
Yeah, like a bunch of they're fucking like Catholic rabbits. That's a Nick Fury joke. And then you got Bill. What the fuck is this?
Bill.
Walter. Sam.
Dude. Skarsgård. Pull out.
No.
Okay. So, like the Skarsgård lineage, okay.
By the way, one more thing about Obi-Wan. There's one concept art shot that it's an Inquisitor coming out of a ship. The dude who plays Han in Fast and Furious is in that. And he's a lightsaber wielder, which makes me think he's an Inquisitor.
Oh, for sure. It'd be a waste to have him on there without like giving him like an actionist role.
The Inquisitors are dope.
Do they? Well, yeah, they're just turned dark Jedi.
One of the coolest things that hasn't yet to make into live action, the Inquisitor in this concept art, it might be a placeholder or it might be like reference, looks just like the second sister from Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, interesting.
The game. And I was like, it immediately struck me. I was like, oh my God, it's Trilla. Like, she is a fucking badass and like a really cool character in that game.
Hell yeah.
Which, if it is, I doubt it's her because of how that game ends. And it's sort of ambiguous where that game falls in the timeline, whether it's going to be, and where Obi-Wan would end up falling in the timeline.
Yeah.
So, I was like, if it is her, it's pretty sweet because there's an actress who did mocap that looks like the character in the game.
That's cool.
So and I was like, that's cool. And those, because of the relatively star-studded cast of that game, like I could see them like bring that in live action eventually.
Yeah.
Like it's the dude who played the Joker in Gotham is the lead in that game.
Yeah, like I mean the characters like very clearly. I remember when they like were launching that.
Yeah.
Like you just like look at it, I can't remember his fucking name, some Monahan or whatever. Because he's also in Shameless.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like he like it's like the spinning image. They
Yeah.
did such a good job. And so it'd be and that dude's actually a really
He's a
solid
good actor.
actor. So it'd be a really cool idea to maybe like branch some of those characters into live action.
I remember when that game came out, there's a YouTube channel. They're not as big as they were, but they're called Funhouse. And they just play like shitty games. And he was like, this isn't a promotional thing. I'm just going onto their YouTube channel and playing bad Star Wars games with them. And it's one of the funniest videos I've seen in a while of just like him playing like Jedi Pod Racer.
Oh god, dude.
And just he's like, I'm not getting paid. I'm just friends with these guys actually, and we decided to make a video.
Dude, Pod Racer is such a fucking stupid game, man. I remember when that thing came out.
Yeah.
It was like hype. And
Shall we quickly do the new Disney Plus shows for Marvel?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely like some good stuff coming out there. You saw this, they dropped a handful of things. They dropped a little teaser for Moon Knight.
Oh, dude, some of the like visual language of Moon Knight was very cool. Just in the little teaser, I think there's the one thing where there's like a reflection, and you see Oscar Isaac keep walking, but the reflection stays and keeps looking at him.
Yeah, it looks like there's definitely going to be some spooky elements to this, and that's going to directly play into obviously his mental state, as well as the fact that he's kind of like the avatar for an Egyptian god. So,
and I mean, and they did do the cool thing of like his voices, like he's talking in one voice and later in the trailer in another voice.
Oh, totally.
It's a good way of distinguishing who is who.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's for sure. Like, which would be, I mean, it'd be a shame if they didn't do something like that, because that's always like a flair in the comics, right? Like each of his kind of personalities has these like a different way of like talking.
I've said it before on the show. There's the super cool recent Moon Knight run where like panel to panel, depending on who is in control, the suit would change.
Yeah.
And like that's an awesome concept. That would be incredibly difficult to nail on film.
Well, yeah, I would say I was going to bring up the suit in the show. It looks like in the trailer you get very little glimpse of it, but it looks like they brightened it up from like that image that got leaked a while ago.
Yeah.
But it looks, from what you see, like the shots of the material and stuff, pretty on point with that, like that promotional shot that kind of got leaked.
The promotional shot looked good. It was obviously unfinished.
Yeah,
but it looked cool.
But so I imagine that the suit does look something like that.
I like sort of the mummy-esque detailing to it.
Well, totally, like the kind of like wrapping almost. Like, yeah.
I mean, like, and the Moon Knight suit in the comics is very smooth most of the time.
Yeah,
it's more of just like a super suit looking thing that's all white.
Totally,
and has a crescent moon on it. But
yeah, he's just got like a cloak and a hood, and it's just like, fairly like standard suit.
So really buying into really just nailing the visual language of it's related to Egyptology and giving you all the hints you need.
Totally.
Down.
Yeah. And then they also dropped like a little, it was kind of like a little promotional and teaser thing for She-Hulk.
Yes.
Where you do see Jennifer Walters get green.
You don't see her face.
No, but you do see her get green. You see like a talk between the Hulk and somebody in a fucking cell.
That was her. Was
that her?
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to control the transformation.
Oh, it looked like a kid.
Well, it's because the Hulk was in Hulk mode.
Oh. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that was her.
Then you see like Charlie Cox in the trailer, which was really fucking cool. That was the coolest part of the trailer.
I'm yet to see Charlie Cox in the trailer.
Dude, pull it up right now.
Let's fucking look.
There's
another shot from like the sizzle where you see She-Hulk coming out of like a limo with like a slit dress, and you see the leg. It's green, and I think that was from like the intro to the whole conference. Fuck off with all these ads, YouTube. Come on.
YouTube ads. Bunch of fucking bastards. Bastard ads. Let's see if this does it.
Right now, what are you feeling?
Is this just a bullshit thing?
Is this a fake? Yeah, this is from Screen Culture. It's fake.
Damn you, Screen Culture.
These bastards.
Dude, straight up. It's got to be like that.
This one, the 30-second one.
Yeah.
You pause it when he comes up. Dune! I'm yet to watch Dune.
Yeah. Oh,
Let's see
definitely
here.
going to be good. There's Jennifer in all green.
It's a bit gratuitous. See, that's her.
Yeah. That's a callback to the original show.
I assumed. Okay, where's Charlie Cox at?
Well, where's the other one? They dropped like 2 little things. There's a different one than that.
What the fuck? I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Well, then we'll have to keep digging. I'm not going to keep doing it right now, though.
Yeah, we'll look at it
But
later.
yeah, you definitely see him because that's like what sparked all like the hot rumors about him.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and then there was also a Miss Marvel, like little teaser.
Yeah, that show kind
cute.
of looks fucking lame. Like, so like one, they're not even doing Miss Marvel's like stretchy powers. They're doing like this kind of like quasi like Green Lantern-esque sort of like beam of light that gets like it's like a hard light construct that she can use or something like that. And I was like, it's really fucking like this is your test run to pull off how Mr. Fantastic will look by using those powers here, and people will give you some fucking credit because it's a Miss Marvel fucking movie or show. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be like this. Out of all of them, that's the one that's gonna be for kids for sure.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I'm intrigued to see more. You know, I'm yet to be sold on it. I'm not. I don't think I was as critical as you are initially, but I am. I want to see more because the 30-second little sizzle we got wasn't enough. You know.
Yeah.
Enough for me to get truly interested. You know, and this sort of goes back. I know we've had this conversation a few times on the show, in terms of like Disney, like inclusion has a purpose. You know, it's to sell tickets at this point. Sadly.
Well,
it's as much a marketing ploy as it is a social thing.
Well, with her character, like the comics were centered around her ethnicity to begin with. So
and I think it's good that they brought on a crew and like a lot of the writers and the directors are people of Arabic background. Awesome, great. I think that's great to see more people like that in film, and I really hope that they do a good job. I just need to see more. You know, that's my thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's. How do I say it? My thing is like if you don't fuck with the characters too much and you just do what the pay respect to the characters as they are, then you still have a lot of really great characters. Right?
I think that's the theme of this episode.
You have
respect the character.
Well, you have Ms. Marvel there. You have which it really is like we have the first run for that series when it dropped, and it's a really cool series because it's like it's following her as she's like not only dealing with like all of a sudden having powers because she gets them from the Terrigen Mist, but she like also it's like her trying to like understand how to be a superhero. So she runs into like this run where she's like the first kind of villain that she kind of comes across, very light villain, is like somebody. She also bumps into Wolverine along the way, and she gets like a little kind of like hero tip from Wolverine, and then she gets like a hero tip from Carol Danvers and all this stuff. So it's kind of like a world building thing, and like it's really interesting to watch a young character sort of grow up in the universe.
It seems like a good vessel. Like I think that's one of the things that we can only say with Spider-Man so far is that we've had like a Marvel coming of age story. I think
for the most part,
it's really just Spider-Man. And I think
because everybody else is adults. Yeah.
So I mean, like, and we were talking about it before the show when we had some good pizza. Shout out to Vic's.
Yo.
Fuck old school. That's a joke. There goes half the listeners.
Honestly, old school's kind of how do I say it? It's all
fine.
about the aesthetic.
But it's good I think it's all coming of age stories are very engaging, and I think they're a lot of fun when done well. And I'm always down for a good coming of age or like teen finding themselves show. Like I feel like it's done more often bad than it is good though.
Yeah. I mean, it's done more often in the vein of like a CW fucking program than it is anything else. And
yeah.
Like that's why those things can be really fucking boring.
Yeah.
And like
maybe putting some actual money behind it with Disney and Marvel, it gets better.
Well, yeah.
I do agree with you, though. I find it slightly frustrating that they're changing her powers. I'm curious if she's still going to be an Inhuman.
Yeah, I mean, those are like really pivotal things to me for that character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they haven't brought in the Inhumans in the MCU, so
Yeah.
you know,
It might be it might be an interesting starting place.
it would be, but they'd also have to like immediately drop that like the Terrigen Mist spread across the globe, and like other people now have superpowers also,
It's
and
a
shit
real
like that. Which is
fucking-
like the closest thing we got was a legit storyline in
Agents of
Shield.
It's a shame that it's not in the MCU.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. Like if Agents of Shield was canon, then Ms. Marvel would make more sense to me.
Oh my god, dude! At the end of the second season of Agents of Shield, when there's that sort of montage of the Terrigen like melting in the ocean, and it getting into fish oil tablets, and it's just like that's the end stinger of that season. Oh my god, it was so good. And then after that is like when they put money into Agents of Shield.
That's what I'm saying, man. They really like
Season 1 and 2 were fine. Especially the end of season 1 with Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
for sure.
But then it got so fucking good.
It's such a shame that they did not canonize that, man. Like,
Dude, I'm hoping that it goes the same way as Daredevil, though. That we see
Yeah.
some of these characters again.
Yeah. Well, because like and just to like kind of finish talking about those like hodgepodge of things, like there are like heavy rumors of Charlie Cox like now like being part of this like project that's getting developed, a Daredevil project that's getting developed, and it seems like that he might be popping up as like side characters. Matt Murdock maybe in like a variety of projects.
Might not be seeing the costume.
Yeah, which would be a great build up to him donning the costume in a show, But like
or I mean there could be like little like he very well, and another thing we were talking about before the show, it could be very cool seeing him being like in the courtroom and there being some hints that he is Daredevil on the side, and that he is active and like is a vigilante. But we're not seeing that side yet.
Yeah.
We're more seeing just his day-to-day life.
Yeah,
I think that'd be sweet.
Yeah, maybe his knuckles are a little bloody in the courtroom or something.
Yeah, or he's got like a little, or he's got like a little black eye or something.
Yeah, exactly. But I almost guarantee you that he maybe like at some point gives some sort of like legal advice or works with Jennifer Walters in like the She-Hulk series.
Well, Jennifer Walters is a prosecutor, right?
Yeah, and she specifically like develops her practice to like represent superhero clientele.
Is she a prosecutor or a defense attorney?
I think she's just a lawyer in general.
Okay. Well, Matt Murdock is specifically a defense attorney.
Yeah. I don't know what her fucking title is.
I think,
it might be defense attorney.
Well, prosecutor would be fun because then you can go She-Hulk versus Daredevil.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. Maybe that would be a good setup.
That'd be a great setup.
Maybe she's prosecuting. Maybe Jennifer Walters is prosecuting villains for the for the court.
And Daredevil's playing devil's advocate.
But I think they got some really cool stuff. The only thing I'm like kind of like, we've heard dick all about it, but they're definitely like developing like an Echo show. And I think that like that's the one that's probably the closest related to Daredevil in terms of like a project.
Yeah.
But it's still like really like out there. They've announced.
What's the deal with Echo again?
From my understanding, I think Echo is like kind of just one of those like street level sort of like martial arts.
Is she like deaf? Is that the thing?
I think so. I
think
don't remember off the top of my head. I just know that like there's definitely been some crossover with her and Daredevil before.
Yeah, they occupy the same space.
Yeah, because
isn't she like the adopted daughter of Kingpin? I think that's what I heard about her.
But that's another character, man. Like they have a perfect casting for Kingpin. Yeah, and we've talked about this like exhaustively, but it's like so hard to let those two perfect castings go when they're still those actors are still interested in the roles. Yeah, there's still interest in them as those roles.
They have to get back another actress though.
Who's that?
Vanessa.
Oh, you won't come back without Vanessa.
I need Vanessa. Dude, she's my wife.
Dude, and then just a slippery slope. John Barenthal will then make his appearance as Punisher on Disney Plus.
God, he's so good.
The only other random Disney Plus thing I wanted to shout out was that there's rumors that they're floating the ideas around of putting like not kid-friendly content on Disney Plus, like adult violent type of content, like regular shit.
Actually, I'm taking I mentioned this last week. I'm taking a political economy of the media class, essentially media ownership and how it's divided. What's fascinating is that since Disney was a company, they've always had sub companies to distribute non-kid friendly content
totally.
away from the Disney banner.
Totally.
So it makes sense considering they own Hulu now that like any not quite kid friendly things go on Hulu.
Well, yeah, but that's what they've been doing, right?
Exactly.
So like, but they, like
I'm curious what would break into Disney Plus.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's like, what's the threshold there? Like what, like even if they open up the envelope a little bit more, like where is the new line for like, you know, like will they put Aliens on Disney Plus? You know, they own Fox now, though, so it's like,
Dude, talking about your dad earlier with Star Trek reminded me that my dad, worth noting, a man who lived in a town that got power a year before he was born in the 70s.
There you go.
Thought that anything that took place in space was Star Wars. So he showed me a really cool Star Wars movie called Alien when I was like 5 years old.
Oh yeah.
And it freaked the fuck out of me. Like I can't imagine that being on Disney Plus. Or
It's a great movie, man.
It's a great movie now, but for 5-year-old Lucas, I was like shitting myself.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those the same. I mean, those are like some of the earliest movies my dad fucking played for us. Like, just wrong time to do it.
I mean, I get you're excited, but
you know, yeah. It's definitely ain't Star Wars though.
probably not.
But okay, so the other obvious couple of things we got to talk about. Well, we got to mention. We have to mention before we dive into the juicy bit. There is officially a start to the Avatar Last Airbender live production. It has began.
I was trying to segue us into this because you were talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation having some like political talking points and sort of leaning into some ideas. Avatar does that. 100%.
Totally.
And I think like especially
Avatar goes hard on the class system in the fucking second book.
And then even in like in the second book, and then you get into like dictatorial rule in the third book. Legend of Korra is all about fascism and political ideologies.
It's really fucking awesome how they dig that. They weave that into the series.
I mean, literally, Legend of Korra is like communism, idealism, and like by season 3 is anarchy, and then anarchy leads directly to a fascist regime.
Dude, straight up.
And it's like in retrospect, thinking of both those shows, I'm like, damn, that's some good shit.
Yeah.
We've been getting cool Avatar casting news.
Dude,
last week we talked about Daniel Day
fucking
Kim.
Good.
And you sent me yesterday the new casting news, and I was sitting. Me and Kate have been watching House lately, because why not? It's actually really good. And I was sitting with her watching the show. My phone rings, and I go, and she's like, "Is everything okay?" I was like, "Appa's playing fucking Iroh."
Dude, it's so legit. Like, what a fucking good casting.
Oh my god.
I just can't believe
I can't believe it.
That was like the fucking case.
What's his name again?
I was just trying to look.
I was
like,
I only know him. I only know him as like Mr. Kim.
Oh yeah, what is it? I had something saved for it.
I got it here.
But yeah, he's popped up a little bit in, he had that cameo in the
Paulie.
Yeah. And so, he had that like lovely little role as like the starfighter, the X-Wing pilot in
The Mandalorian. Yeah.
And like, it's just always like he's one of those actors now. It's just like exciting to see him in something, and to see him get cast as Uncle Iroh in The Last Airbender. It's just fucking on point. And like because Iroh's so like, he spends so much of that show being so fucking like wholesome, and then he has these moments where he like, like smacks Zuko back into place, basically, and this guy, he has such a good heart, like he has a good like wholesome vibe to him. Yeah. But he also like, you see him as Appa at times, like in Kim's Convenience, get kind of like snappy too, and so it's like I really can't wait to see him do that. Have you ever seen him?
It was like the Canadian Film Awards. Because Kim's Convenience is a Canadian show. He goes up and he like won Best Comedic Actor.
Nice.
And he goes up and he goes in like Appa's voice, like, "I'm best. I deserve this." And then he goes, I'm joking, everybody." And it just, the dude seems like so nice.
Totally.
And it is a truly dream casting. I just question, is he gonna get ripped for season 3?
Yeah, that's what we were trying to like I hope so. I hope we see that dude like.
I think what's so
get fucking like jacked for season.
What's
3.
so interesting is that Iroh is so unassuming for the first 2 seasons. We know that he has this like weird past, and a lot of it is not really divulged to the audience.
No.
That he was a brutal military general.
Yeah.
He was incredibly efficient. The Dragon of the West.
Yeah.
We get little hints to what the shit that Iroh's done. In season 3, sadly the voice actor had passed away, and they cut his role heavily because there was going to be another actor filling that slot. But also just to sort of let Zuko have his arc.
Yeah.
And and the point of Zuko's season 3 arc is that he did it himself. Iroh didn't have to lead him anymore.
Yeah.
But then when Iroh comes back, that unassuming form is gone.
Yo, no, yeah, he's a leader again.
He's a leader. He's physical, he's physically as best. And actually, it makes sense that they'd have to get him ripped because he breaks out on the Day of Black Sun when he doesn't have any powers.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is awesome.
It's fucking saying something. Yeah, that'll be cool, man. Because Iroh is like one of my all-time. He's like one of my top favorite characters of that series, man.
And then we have Commander Zhao, is played by Ken Leung, who I recognize. I don't know.
Yeah, I recognize. Like there's like him.
And then the guy who plays Monk Gyatso, Lee K-sui.
All 3 of these guys I recognize from.
Yeah, these are like obviously we recognize Paul Moore.
Yeah,
but I like both of these other guys. I'll have to look at their filmography because I immediately recognize them as well.
Yeah, dude, but I'm excited about it, man. And like that combined with the pretty solid casting that they have for the kids, I know we're not going to see this because it's only season 1 so far. I'm incredibly excited to see who plays Azula. Oh, for sure.
Because I think you got to get some fucking acting chops to play Azula.
Dude, I like legit, like because she has such wild like moods and like swings that she turns, and like
especially in season 3.
Her character development in season 3 is fucking gnarly.
I cannot wait to see who plays Toph.
Oh, dude, that's another one, man.
That's you gotta be confident in that.
Yeah, because Toph is like such a fucking iconic character
and
out of
a
that
presence.
Series, oh, dude.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for that to like get developed. Like season 1 drops, I'm gonna eat it up, and I'm really hoping that I'm gonna just immediately want that season 2.
Season 1 of Avatar, even in like the animation, it's the weakest of the 3 seasons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But it walks so the rest can run.
Yeah.
And it's like season 2 and season 3 are genuinely some of the most satisfying television I've ever seen. Like,
and season 1 ends in a really fucking
it's
awesome
great.
place, dude. Like,
awesome.
The invasion of the Northern Water Tribe and shit like that is like fucking intense.
It's
like,
great.
Yeah, dude.
And,
so,
I mean,
God.
I
can't wait to think about
I'm curious how they will address like some of the more animation heavy parts of this.
Yeah.
And translate it into live action. The one thing that I do think is cool about the movie is how they deal with the invasion of the Water Tribe and like finishing that sequence off.
Yeah, I will agree there.
Yeah, I mean like where Aang enters the Avatar state and doesn't like blow up any ships, but makes a giant wave and just forces all the ships away without hurting anyone.
Yeah,
very much in his character.
Totally.
But I can definitely see they were going for like him not being in control at the end.
Yeah, and
so it sort of broke from that. I thought it was interesting, nonetheless. That movie fucking sucks.
Oof.
But but an interesting idea. That's like my one thing. I don't know. I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop yet. I don't know if I think it might be out. I'm not sure.
I've heard that some people have like dropped like reviews about it, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on Netflix yet. So maybe maybe it's
like previewing.
Yeah.
But I'm curious because when you translate something in animation into live action, something can be lost.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely am curious, especially with Avatar. CGI is much better than it was 10 years ago. But I don't know. That's my one biggest curiosity. Because no matter how good the cast is, no matter how good the acting chops are, if bending doesn't look good, I'm going to have a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, dude.
If the fights suck, it's going to be less engaging.
100%.
That said, as good as the character is, you have to keep me entertained.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, I'll just watch the original.
Dude, straight up. I mean, like, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I'll just keep rewatching the animation, man, because it's so fucking good.
So good.
But okay, so the big for this week, obviously, it's got to be a Marvel-related title.
It's got to be.
It's got to be. It's all.
Who doesn't know what it is?
Yeah. If you don't know, just turn off the podcast now. You haven't been paying attention. Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Spider-Man.
We officially got that second trailer drop.
Dude, they were hyping the shit out of this.
Jesus Christ, dude. They were hyping the trailer drop more than the movie. Like,
Well, I mean, like, here, you know, I have an important question to ask. Is this going to be the first $1 billion movie of the pandemic?
No.
Really?
No.
You don't think that this is going to crack $1 billion?
I don't think so.
Endgame did $2 billion.
I don't think this is gonna drive people that hard. I think the people that are gonna, we've talked about it before. Like, I think the people that are interested in the Marvel movies and interested in Spider-Man, are still gonna turn out for it and see it. But I don't think I don't think this movie is gonna be generating new fans.
But I do think, in the same vein, like, Endgame had so much going for it. I don't think this is going to be Endgame.
Yeah, but Disney Plus wasn't around when Endgame came out either.
Exactly. But because this is only going to theaters, I do think that this is going to, because it's a Spider-Man film, it's going to drive more interest than, like, Black Widow. It's going to drive 100% more interest than Eternals. It's going to drive more interest than Shang-Chi. And playing into, like, William Dafoe being back, and, like, all these classic characters, plus even the ones from the Amazing Spider-Man.
I'll tell you what, man, they better hope for $1 billion movie because they got a large fucking budget probably.
Dude. At least they didn't go the way of, like, No Time to Die.
Yo, for real though, where they spend like 2 years hyping it up more and more.
Like,
Yeah.
No Time to Die was fuck no matter what. It's already out on digital because it didn't do well enough in theaters.
Yeah, I've been seeing that pop up, and it's like I if you go on like Amazon Prime on Prime Video or whatever, it's like that's like gearing up to pop up. It's like it's maybe releasing before Candyman, which came out before it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Which is
It's already out.
You know what I mean?
It dropped like a week ago.
Oh, that's so strange.
Prime. Well, it's because the movie came out and it had decent box office numbers, but to break even, it had to make $900,000.
Yeah, which is
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's already released. I think that Spider-Man, because it is Spider-Man, it is in the MCU, and with the amount of respect it appears to be paying to Tobey Maguire and even Andrew Garfield, people are gonna be fucking excited.
That's what's gonna make or break it. It's gonna be a big success either way. But it's, what'll push it over the line will be if it has like the full actor, like the full cast that people wanted to have. You know what I mean?
Shall we watch it?
Yeah, pop it on.
Let's go.
So there's definitely so many things about this that like leave you curious.
Oop, we're getting loud. Never mind.
After the
got bit by that spider.
once I got bit by this spider.
I have 1 week.
It's a genuinely great trailer.
That was when you found out.
Well, and what's kind of interesting is that they use some new stuff in this trailer, but it's not like
Still very broad on what the actual film is going to be about.
Well, it wasn't like 100% new stuff in the trailer. Which is like
sort of like giving us a bit more, but not too much more.
For sure. Like it builds on the tease that they gave you from the first one with the Green Goblin's full appearance.
Yeah. Love that suit.
The black and gold suit or whatever.
Looks
it's like his
sick.
mystical suit or something like.
Yeah.
Because you see him like definitely like wielding what appears to be like Doctor Strange-esque powers on his gaunt. Like on
You're
his
not
wrist.
Peter Parker.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Dr. Otto Octavius.
Good bit.
Wait, no, seriously, what's your actual name?
Yeah, so they capture a couple of them. It seems like.
Yeah. And you notice the red Doc Ock arms?
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, did he get some Stark tech or some shit?
It appears he absorbs the nanotech suit.
Interesting.
You can see it falling apart in the scene where Peter Parker's head comes out.
Okay.
It's missing pieces like Iron Man's suit in Infinity War.
Oh, fucking hell.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate.
Fuck.
I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
They all die fighting Spider-Man.
I like this idea too. Peter Parker trying to save all the villains. There you go.
I mean, yeah, that'd be an interesting setup.
Oh, like legit Electro.
Yeah.
Looks good, actually.
God, there's so many things. So there's like a one shot where it looks like a different Green Goblin.
Something weird about that shot. We'll talk about it in a sec.
Yeah, the epic Spider-Man facing off against a few villains.
Oh, it's worth noting, Ned's also falling.
Nobody gonna save Ned.
So I'll give my theory on that in a sec.
Ned dies.
Very into the Spider-Verse. Very into the Spider-Verse.
Exclusively at movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 29th.
Yeah.
Spider Monday.
God, Spider Monday. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, and then it hits you with a PS4 5 ad for the Spider-Man games.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, like if you've been online, you've probably seen the shot of like the slow down and close up shot of the lizard in that scene
From the Brazilian trailer. My people
and
getting it.
And so it's it's like, I mean, it was one of like the first things I watched the trailer 7 minutes after it dropped, and then like shortly after that you started seeing these images pop up, and
Like,
definitely
the lizard
like,
is getting kicked by nothing.
yeah, he like gets knocked back, and so it's like there's definitely something going on in that scene.
Yeah.
There's the
Dude, it's a 3-on-3.
well, it has to at least be, and this is what I'm afraid of, is that there's like I said, there's a shot in the trailer of somebody else on a glider that is not the Green Goblin.
That is Green Goblin.
It looks like a hooded person without a face mask,
So
and it looks more akin to like say James Franco's Green Goblin-esque character, or even the Green Goblin from the Andrew Garfield movies.
there was a leak a while back of a stunt double wearing a Green Goblin suit that it was slightly modified. It's still Defoe's Green Goblin, but it looks like at some point in the movie the helmet from the original gets broken, and there's like it's the stunt double wearing goggles with a modified version of the original suit where it's just like the chest and it has like a bag on it and like a purple scarf. It's still Defoe.
Well, let's hope so.
And
Because
if
it'd be really bad if they incorporated something else.
Harry,
Well, it'd be really bad
different.
if they brought like that's like a third. They
get James Franco in.
Well, because if you think about it, like I could definitely see them trying to pull something off where it's like, okay, well we got one of the extra Spider-Man in, but we don't have all three of them.
Here, I'll find it. If you people have paused that shot and lightened it up a bit, it's still blurry, but it's obviously the leaked suit, which is still.
I mean, I don't give that much of a shit about it.
Which
but,
it's still Willem Dafoe. I'll find it because it looks sick.
But yeah, so it's like it's definitely and this is what I was thinking about with this trailer when it dropped was like they're not going to give you the 3 Spider-Men. They're not going to give you that. That's like obviously that's obviously what's going to generate a big portion of the people going to the theater to see it is like people that want to see if that happens.
Apparently, Sony wanted to give the put the 3 Spider-Man in this, and Marvel said don't.
Yeah, that makes sense because Sony's fucking stupid and they do all the things that they don't.
Go. That's it.
Yeah, but that looks completely different than the good thing on the glider, though. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's what's on the glider. There's a shot here of it. It's that one.
Yeah, with like
it just with goggles.
With goggles and
like a little hood, but it's that.
Maybe
just in like a darker environment.
The suit doesn't have like what looks like a sort of like protruding things off the arms and whatnot. Because that looks more like the suit in the trailer looks more like Robert Pattinson's bat suit.
You're actually right. I'm noticing that too.
Else,
Maybe
so.
That might be like post CGI stuff.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll hold our breath.
Because let's be real. Even like the really good like live act or the really good practical suit they have for Spider-Man that Tom Holland films in is just for CGI reference. Oh, so a lot of this stuff is sort of subject to change in post.
But either way, so it'll be interesting to see, like for sure, how they flush all this out. I think it'd be really strange if they. I mean, how do I say this? It'd be really strange if they tried, and I don't think they're going to, but if they tried to continue on the story after this movie.
Yeah.
Tom Holland basically all but said that like this is like the end of these characters
Tom
as
Holland
we know
said
them.
that it's probably for the best. I think I saw this quote today from an interview that he did like a few weeks ago. It's probably for the best that I don't do another Spider-Man movie. It's most likely the best that they do a Miles Morales film.
Yeah, well,
And-
I think that's mainly because him as an actor, he's like for a while now, he's been like in interviews and stuff questioning whether he wants to continue this role where
yeah.
eventually he'll only be known as like a former Spider-Man, or if
get
he
it.
wants to be as an actor and develop further. Like, so that makes sense. Like, and yeah, like obviously like
I
doing.
mean, the last thing Tobey Maguire was in was Boss Baby in 2018. So I mean,
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, because Tobey Maguire had a series of fucking
well, yeah, that too. But
misfires for sure. And like Tom Holland's still young enough as an actor that he can
do other
he
stuff.
can still like get away with like moving away from this role. Like look at Chris Evans right now. Chris Evans as an actor is having a hard, like he's getting some good roles, but he's definitely having a hard time moving away from being the face of the MCU.
oh yeah,
And that's a danger, dude. I don't know. I feel like if
like-
you want to be taken seriously, you don't want to be taken seriously as an MCU actor.
yeah. I mean,
You know
like
what I mean?
Robert
Like-
Downey Jr. is doing nothing else.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like Robert Downey Jr. did, like, he got re-famous for being Iron Man. And then after he did that, he tried to do a Dr. Dolittle movie that
Which
was like
flopped.
coasting on only his popularity,
Yeah.
basically. And it fucking flopped. And it's like, dude, you don't want to be that guy. You don't
No.
want to be the guy who wishes he was actually, Tony Stark.
So I do think so. There's another thing from this trailer that I saw. So there are 5 villains. Missing one.
Yeah, the
I
rumor
know
is the Mysterio's Doctor Strange.
That's bullshit.
It would be so stupid.
It's Venom.
I mean, that would also be stupid.
Well, Venom's in the MCU now.
Yeah, but he's not like, if he's
not a bad guy.
if he's an actual like character in this movie, it would be a fucking mistake. Because that's exactly what was fucking off about the other time they tried to use Venom in a fucking Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Was that they
Just
jammed him
ham-fisted.
they jammed him into a crowded cast.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to see Tom Hardy and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin
Yeah.
in the same fucking movie.
You know
what
I
I
would be
mean?
down with Venom popping up in like end credits. You know.
Sure, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
give
he's
Spider-Man
you already
black
know
suit.
he's in the universe because of the Venom 2 thing.
But he popped up in Mexico, so he's got to make a ways to get to New York.
Well, and yeah, I mean, it's just sort of like, I think it would be smart for them to let that ride because
Yeah.
it's still so fresh for people.
I agree.
And if they're already doing
Give us a little
like,
stinger in this one. You know.
some multiverse building in this movie, like leave it with like what they have. I mean, clearly this gets bigger. Has a bigger impact than just the movie.
Yeah.
It's obvious that like the events of this movie are going to spill over into other aspects of the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, even to the point where it's like I really don't know what Doctor Strange's role is in this movie necessarily.
I mean,
'Cause
like-
it looks like the spell gets fucked up,
Yeah.
and then it looks like it like tears reality.
Yeah.
Like-
and just starts pulling these Spider-Man villains from a bunch of different
Yeah.
universes.
So that's what,
And it
what I'm
also,
wondering is like,
the end of
does
the
he
trailer
have to
sort
go?
of implies that there's more coming.
That's what I mean. Like, so it's like, does he, is he now like gonna have to like, is that multiverse of madness shit where
I
he's
think
basically
so.
like now having to close up this fucking these like.
Well, I think this movie
tears in
might
reality
end with
or whatever,
him like going into the multiverse.
Yeah, and so that's really the post credit scene that I'm looking for is like what the fuck does Doctor Strange have to do after
I think
this?
post-credit scene, Doctor Strange trying to fix this shit, and then Wanda shows up,
Yeah, like dude, like seriously, like
setup.
something like that, like
or America
like-
Chavez, because
like-
that's another thing that needs to get set up.
yeah, which I'm still like, there's been no setup for that character yet.
There's a casting. But
There-
that's
yo,
it.
totally, and like I mean, there's like the character is involved in the Doctor Strange movie. We know
Yeah.
that. Like
She's
so,
on the
yeah.
poster.
It's like it'll be really interesting to see how that gets fleshed out. But yeah,
So-
dude, like this. I mean, this movie definitely.
There's two more things I really want to bring up. So there's that scene of MJ falling.
Mm-hmm.
Ned's also falling. Something worth noting. And it's right after Peter Parker says, "I can't save them all," and so I have
But
seen
multiple Peter Parkers can save them all.
I have seen people saying, and this is very much fan canon at this point, we don't know, but it would make complete sense because the visual parallels at present that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man saves MJ
Yeah.
when Tom Holland's Spider-Man can't.
Yeah. Well, there's
Great,
also
great payoff to that character.
I saw in that scene in the trailer. There's like another somebody else like
yeah, there's
pausing,
another arm
close
in
up.
there.
Yeah, it's like an arm that was like kind of like lingering in there. So you definitely know that there's like a Spider-Man somewhere close by.
Yeah. And then there is something of note that I haven't actually seen. I saw one person talking about, Mr. Sunday Movies mentioned it. There's a scene where Doc Ock is running from the lightning from Electro.
Hmm.
Which Doc Ock turned good. Do we potentially see, because there's that scene of them just talking.
No superior Spider-Man.
No superior Spider-Man. But like at the end of Spider-Man 2, he sort of realizes that he's wrong.
Yeah,
and tries to fix the problem he's helped create.
Yeah, I mean that was like the character that they painted with him was that he was more of a tragic character than anything else. You know,
which was very engaging. It's why that movie's so widely loved. I think is that you have a great villain in that sense.
Definitely, and so that would be the obvious turn in this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I think even if it is a bit obvious, I think doing it in an interesting way, maybe him realizing that like Doctor Strange is saying.
Maybe.
Doctor Strange saying it's their fate to die,
yeah.
fighting Spider-Man. There could be some form of acceptance of that on the part of Doc Ock.
Well, I imagine, yeah, like characters like the Lizard and Electro and Doc Ock are all sympathetic characters.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, no, but I don't imagine that. I don't imagine
really.
that like they would be trying to redeem the Green Goblin. But
No.
the other three characters they already painted in the movies that they were in as like tragic figures. You know, Jamie Foxx's Electro is bullied and just mulled over by society. The fucking Lizard, Ian, what's his name? Reese something or other, whatever his fucking name is. His Doc Connors is Doc Connors was always a tragic character. Just somebody who's trying to regain something that he lost, and so yeah, that makes sense. I got to be honest though. I feel like that'd be a really boring fucking story. Like
me too.
Like I don't want to see a story about Spider-Man trying to save and redeem these villains. I don't
think redeem might be.
I want to see him and two other Spider-Men battle these villains. And then throw them in the fucking
multiverse.
Yeah, or or they get stuck on the fucking raft or something like that.
I think one of the fun things about Spider-Man is that he can't. One of the most engaging things is that he can't have it both ways.
No, and that
I think that's sort of the direction they're going. Is that he wants to be a normal kid, but with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
and he's trying to save people. He can't save them all. He's sympathetic to these villains because he doesn't want to send these people to their doom, but they want to fucking kill him and his friends. So it's like you can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
something has to give.
Yeah, which is a lesson you think he would have learned after the last movie.
Exactly. And if they have balls, they'll do Death of Peter Parker in this.
I mean, yeah.
And then you get a real Miles Morales story.
I mean, that would be intriguing, honestly.
I don't think they'll do it.
It would be super out of left park. Like it'd just be.
Imagine the balls.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they have it. Like,
I don't think so either.
I think that like the introduction of the Miles Morales character will be a really dicey and careful thing.
Yeah.
That they have to pull off because two things. Peter Parker is a really beloved character, and Miles Morales is also. And so you don't want to transition away from one in a hodgepodge ass way. And so the jamming, sort of like the Venom debacle, jamming another important character into this movie filled with a plethora of other characters would be a fucking mistake.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying put Miles Morales in this movie,
but I mean, I think leaving it on a note where there's like, okay, now we need another Spider-Man is probably not the best way to leave a Spider-Man franchise either.
It's a bit too Ultimate Universe for the MCU.
Well, I mean, which was heavily founded on the Ultimate Universe. So
it is.
It's it's like, but
they
definitely steered away from that.
It was the Ultimate Universe was also very edgy and sort of somber in ways that the mainline Marvel universe never was.
Well, and that's what I mean. It's like that's why they started off in in kind of a closer place to that, and they've definitely they've gotten. They've gotten more Disney friendly as they've gone on.
They've gotten more Disney friendly, and I think they've gotten more of their own vibe as well, separate from pulling inspiration from everything rather than the more they're beyond having to sell the more grounded elements like the Ultimate Universe tried to do.
Yeah, I mean the Disney MCU is like they've established a tone for themselves, and so they can which directly like bleeds into and impacts the comics now. So
at this point, yeah.
So it's definitely the tone that as a company Marvel wants to set. And that it will slowly be what's reflected and taken over in all forms of Marvel
considering
media.
Kevin Feige is now the head of Marvel, period.
Yeah.
Including the comics. It's like...
Which...
God himself is...
I mean, that's I've talked about it before, but it's a dangerous slope to start letting all that shit bleed together and influence itself, and rather than being like two separate things that happen to be influencing one another. I
did see something
intrinsically tied.
And I want to bring this up because I think it's an interesting discussion to have. I read an article yesterday before the trailer came out that said Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home is doomed. It's going to disappoint. And it's because there's so much dialogue and so many expectations being set up by these companies and so much hype.
It's a very real possible. I don't think it'll ever be a failure.
No.
A commercial failure, but I think that it's already in the danger of. I mean, just look at how much hype this fucking trailer had. Like there were movie
theater viewing parties for this trailer.
That's what I mean, dude. It's like it's too real almost because it's just like it's I think people are. Hey, dude, I want it all. Like, I want it all. I want all these characters to fucking be in a movie where they just, like, fucking throw bows and beat the shit out of each other. And, like, you see it all. Like, you see all the web-slinging action, But it's not fucking reality. And, like, to set that expectation for this movie that high, which is what people are doing, is, like, it's just, as a viewer, dangerous.
As a viewer, you're setting yourself up to get disappointed. You're running the risk of the sequel trilogy of Star Wars.
Yeah,
where everybody has a thing they want to see
Yeah.
and gets married to that idea, and then when they don't see it, they get fucking frustrated.
Yeah, which happens to movies all the time.
It happens all the time.
Time.
The one thing that I feel reassured about is that I think that Marvel has a better read on their fan base and what people actually want than, say, Disney did when it came to Star Wars. And
yeah,
you can see it with shit like the lizard getting invisible kicked by something. It's like that. They're not showing it in the trailer. That was obviously a fluke that is already gone, by the way. They re-uploaded that trailer with it fixed.
It can't go away.
It's not. It's online.
It's
it's
out
gone.
there now.
It's out there forever. But that said, that is most likely showing that there's going to be a payoff to this ridiculous amount of hype. That is something that everybody wants to see. Will it be exactly what we thought? Probably not. But
no, never.
It's like the worst kept secret in Hollywood, in line with Kurt Russell playing Ego at this point, if not beyond, that Matt Murdock and the other two Spider-Man are in this.
Well, that would be the interesting turn, right?
Yeah.
Is this like really, just if we saw like a full blown like Daredevil like kicking the lizard in the face in that trailer or in that shot, you know what I mean? Like, I'd be down for it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it'd be like, what the fuck is going on now?
I mean, like that's a cool duo, Spider-Man and Spider-Man Daredevil.
Dude, I mean, like they have this really great relationship that they build those two characters into, and so it's almost such a shame to have never been able to experience that live action yet. But
once again, I do think that Daredevil will be like a sick, like mentor for like a Miles Morales type in a future movie.
I think that would be a good, just in general, like a good role for Charlie Cox's Daredevil is to kind of have this like mentor-y sort of vibe with some of the like street level up and comers, And
I think. Like this is something once again super engaging about Daredevil and very similar to Spider-Man. Daredevil wants to have it both ways as well. He wants to weed out crime. He has the same problems as Batman. He wants to weed out crime. He wants to make a city a better place, but he is a half measure. He's not taking the final step of fucking murdering these people.
Yeah.
So they're going to get out of prison and go back to crime.
Yeah.
So, and that's very in line with Spider-Man's predicament as well. And having him as sort of somebody that's been doing it, and going to somebody mean like you have to accept it. Like you have to accept that your moral code will prevent you from like making significant enough change. Yeah. Like, and I think that that's interesting. And it's one of the most engaging things about that character.
Definitely. Yeah. And I could see that as being like a kind of connecting point for those two characters.
Yeah. I definitely think, and I think that feeds into what you were talking about with having Daredevil pop up in other stuff first,
Yeah.
Well, laying the groundwork before doing his own thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's been one of the biggest mysteries about this whole Spider-Man project was that like, Charlie Cox was on set, Charlie Cox was involved in some way, and so you're just like, okay, like this has got to be his first like MCU pop-up, right? And so you're just like, what the fuck is it gonna be? Like, is it gonna be just like a Matt Murdock mentor-y lawyer situation? Is it gonna be a Daredevil situation? What is it? Nobody knows. Will he be credited as Daredevil or Matt Murdock?
You know the greatest mystery of Spider-Man No Way Home?
What?
Is the guy that Obadiah Stane yelled at gonna be in it because he's still alive?
Jesus Christ.
Tony Stark built that in a cave with a box of scraps. He's still alive. He made it out.
He made it out.
He had a thumb drive that they sent to fucking J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm just interested to see where this starts off, you know, because the last movie just left in such a fucking gnarly place for Spider-Man.
I don't know if it's a leak or somebody just like making a joke, but there's the bit in Far From Home where Flash Thompson loves Spider-Man, and there's somebody who's like, it would be great if Flash Thompson's getting a Spider-Man tattoo or something when news comes out that it's Peter Parker.
Dude, that dude's gonna lose his shit either way. Oh man.
Sadly, and this is one of the things that I sort of regret about this. We're never gonna see an Agent Venom Flash Thompson.
No.
And we're never gonna see a Hobgoblin.
No.
And it's fine.
It's fine.
Like we'll see it in some other form.
You'll give us Green Goblin. We don't need the Hobgoblin. It's okay.
Dude, you know how crushed I would be if Ned ended up going bad?
I mean,
I would be absolutely destroyed. He's such a lovable character.
Oh yeah, I mean, it would be a really strange turn for him to actually become a villain. You know, there's no precedent for it so far. Like, he's Spider-Man's best fucking homie. Like,
yeah, he's just a nice guy.
Like, sure, maybe he has a different accident and gets superpowers or something like that. I'd be fine. Give Ned some superpowers.
Definitely be more of a Harry Osborn type.
Yeah, but don't make him the Hobgoblin.
He's gonna be good in the end.
Don't make him a villain.
He might have a moral struggle, but he's gonna be good in the end and help him beat Venom and Sandstorm.
Exactly, on his flying snowboard.
Dude, you know, actually, when you did that shot of Green Goblin that we talked about right at the beginning of this. In the alternate suit, when I saw that, I was like, "No way, it's James Franco."
I mean, there's no way that Marvel would work with Franco at this point in time.
No,
anyway, because Franco's caught so much heat. But you know, I mean, just the audacity of it to tease the multiverse Spider-Man, and then you give maybe a Spider-Man and then his buddy Harry Osborn.
That'd be so stupid.
Hey, I got some of my dad's pumpkin bombs. Let's get them.
Dude, that would be so fucking funny.
Oh god, dude. But either way, I'm really
shall we round this out?
I'm really looking forward to it. And you should be too, man.
Everyone should.
Yeah, let's just. I mean, we covered quite a bit. We'll leave it there. You digest this, and then keep coming back for more. Also, side note. We're officially turning the hot dogs into corn dogs now. So,
is it corn dogs now?
Yeah, we're dipping them in some batter. We're going to fry them up.
Went down to Lake Fair and got ourselves a corn dog.
Yeah, got ourselves a corn dog.
With all them folks from Yale.
Corn dogs don't take your teeth. You just left them at home to begin with. All right.
What?
On that note, what is this? We said 87? Oh, my God.
13 more episodes. What are we going to do for 100?
I don't know.
Dude, we should do a full MCU rewatch.
We'll have to do for episode 100. We'll go to a movie theater, a crowded movie theater, and record live.
Oh, dude,
in the middle of a movie until we get kicked out.
What's a terrible movie that we can go watch in the immediate future?
Is there a Transformers movie coming out soon?
There's not.
Damn
it.
Damn
Well, oh, dude, wait, quickly before we go. There is a Transformers movie coming.
Yeah, the Beast Wars movie.
Yes!
Yeah, dude.
And it's not being made by Michael Bay.
I know, but I'm still disappointed because it's like... How do I say this? Beast Wars was such a cool series that it's like, I don't want them to fucking ruin it by making a shitty Transformers movie.
Oh, dude, we know.
If Michael Bay is attached as a producer, game over.
We need to... Here's what we do for 100 episodes. We do our top 10 worst films we've ever seen.
Oh, God. I mean, I'm down with that.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's in the books.
You heard it here first.
13 weeks in advance.
All right. Be good to each other,
Thank
people.
you, corn dogs.